And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Above. There's a pretty big box here. Above is a game that looks really cool because it comes with a board inside the box. This board is three-dimensional. Look at that. Woo. Well, kind of three-dimensional. And it has all these different gods in it, the Greek gods, and you're moving them. But don't get that exciting. First of all, the three-dimensional part of this game doesn't matter. Could have been a flat board. Secondly, it's Greek gods, extremely abstract. Well, thirdly, you'll see. Let's jump into it. There are 8 different deities in this game. The first person to move one of the deities in the middle is the winner. You're going to put some tokens on the board, and you use these deity cards, and they have some letters and numbers on them that you will use, and you on this side, and you kind of match 2 together to put them out there. But once you're done with that, each person has these cards, and on your turn, you pick a god. You'll move that god either sideways 1 or up 1, and then you can also use their power. And each one has a different power. Zeus can put a lightning bolt on the board. If you land on or next to a lightning bolt, you don't get to use your power. Hera can exhaust one of the opponent's people. Ares can place 2 blocking tokens on the board. You try to go on those, you can't. Ha ha ha. Athena will exhaust 2 of your people. You do that because once all your people are exhausted, you can unflip them and use them again. Hades puts out a warp token. You can go from one warp token to another. Demeter puts out one of these tokens. When a token moves into that, they get to go again instantly. Poseidon can make someone move back, and Aphrodite can pick someone else and move them forward, although you cannot move someone into the top here. That's it. You're just going to go back and forth till someone gets someone into the top. At that point, that person mercifully wins the game. So when it comes to the components of this game, this board itself is actually made up of several rings, and you have to put these rings together to put them inside the box, and you do that using these double stick things here where you peel this off and put them on, and wow, was it a pain. And you have to try to line things up as well as you can, and you'll see that I got kind of close to lining them up, but not quite, because you can line up one of them, for example, but if you don't have, it's a weird thing. But it's fairly sturdy. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I'm afraid they'll pop off. You put everything else underneath it. The gods themselves, little plastic tokens that have both their symbol and a color. Fine enough. These work well, although trying to read these numbers and rings that you put stuff in, they're very, very small. There, we can finally read it. That's pretty much it. The box is really a ridiculous size for what you get in this game, but whatever. Wow, I don't like this game. I would go so far as to say this is not a game I don't like, that this is not a good game. Because essentially, this game is about being the first to move a piece into the middle. So moving almost to the middle means nothing. What? It's crazy. It's like running all the way up to the finish line, but the first person to put their foot across. But we're using the same pieces. So I can move a guy up one space, and then you move up the next space, and I move up the next space. But I don't want to move him up one more space because then you'll win. So I have to figure out a way with these cards to try to put it in such a position that I'll be able to move it once and then move it again. So like use Aphrodite to move a guy to the second spot, and then you can't move that person in your turn because it's exhausted for you, but I don't, so I win. That is the whole game. Figuring out one of maybe 3 combos, like using an extra movement, and then forcing your opponent to have that person exhausted and you don't. The whole game revolves around that one point, but it doesn't justify buying a game this big. This is a tiny little game that's not that interesting to begin with. All the special powers are put tokens and exhaust cards. They're not that interesting. And then to get to the middle, Above. The game also is called Above, and like, wow! Nothing! It could have been black and red dartboard colors. I mean, it looks like a dartboard, doesn't it? And maybe could be best used as one. Yeah, okay, so I'm being maybe harsher than I should be, but I like the miniatures and stuff, but this is just this kind of game that this was brought to me, I'd go, it's kind of an interesting idea, but I wouldn't publish it, but they did. And it's one I can't recommend. It's one that's going to be forgotten. It doesn't have this back and forth abstract feel. There is no luck in the game other than the initial placement of those tokens. So it's literally just this boring cat and mouse as we exhaust cards and you're trying to figure out the right combination of cards. But again, those first few moves where you move everyone up those first couple steps don't matter. How? Why? Why does that even exist? Why go from step 1 to step 2? They should have just put everyone around step 3 and then you played. I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, this game looks cool. If I was in a store and I walked by it, I'd go, ooh, that looks really cool. But now that I played it, I can tell you it isn't. I'm Tom Vasel. This is Above. I don't recommend it, sadly. I'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment? Nope.